Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, never, ever, after work is over.
The FT's PwC audited average daily global audience measurement shows us that 2.1 million readers read FT content either in the newspaper or online every single day. Of these 2.1 million, 1.47 million only read the newspaper. In addition, there are over 390,000 daily FT readers who only read our content in digital format, and if you advertise in the newspaper alone, you'll miss out on nearly 20% of the FT's total audience. And this increase in reach gained by adding FT.com to your print campaign is even more significant when we start to look at vital target markets such as the world's most senior business audience as measured by Ipsos's Business Elite series. Across the globe, simply by adding FT.com to your newspaper buy, you can increase audience reach of the most senior business leaders by 38%. That's over 50,000 more influential readers every single day, a figure far higher than for any of our competitors. But let's take a closer look at some of the most elusive, influential and affluent target audiences to see the impact that digital advertising can have on audience reach there. Looking now just at BE Europe, we can see significant increases against some of these core target markets. One concept we want to put firmly to bed today is the concept that C-suites don't use the internet. They do. This audience, the most powerful business people in the world, who hold trillions of dollars in business budgets, have truly embraced digital content, and over 50% more can be reached by using FT.com alongside an FT print campaign. Not only does the FT print readership have a great profile, with a higher reach than the survey average against a range of key targets, the online-only readership is almost identical, and in some instances even outpaces that of the print readership. But so far we've looked at just part of the story, that is, readers who consume our content just on one of our channels or Solus channel readers. The story becomes more interesting still when we look at a third group of FT readers, those who read both the FT newspaper and FT.com every single day. Returning to our PwC audited average daily global audience measurement, we can see that in addition to the 1.5 million print-only readers and 400,000 online-only readers, there are close to 250,000 readers who are daily dual-channel consumers, and we can see what they look like. These people are even more likely to be part of the world's most desirable target audiences, and it makes sense. The most senior business individuals, opinion leaders and decision-makers need both the expert comment, analysis and background, which is delivered by the newspaper, and just as importantly the breaking news and minute-by-minute updates delivered by FT.com. They trust both platforms to provide them with the quality and independent journalism they expect from the FT. Our research shows that advertising works. Based on 5 bespoke cross-platform advertising effectiveness studies that we've conducted for our clients over the past year and a half, we can demonstrate that advertising in the Financial Times is an extremely effective way to communicate your marketing messages to a senior audience. Between them were a wide range of marketing messages and objectives that these 5 companies needed to communicate with their target market. Analysis of these messages across 2 groups of people, those exposed to advertising and a control group who were not exposed, demonstrated that on average there was a 35% increase in agreement with statements about those companies' brands and performance if an individual had been exposed to the advertising on one of our platforms, and that could be print or digital. However, there is a further significant uplift. For the same 5 companies and their marketing messages, we can see that the audience who saw advertising on both channels, that is in both the newspaper and on FT.com, were even more likely to understand and remember the advertising messages and far more likely to be engaged with the brand than those who saw it on just one channel. Staying with the 5 bespoke campaigns we've just looked at, we can see that print and online have rather different strengths when it comes to boosting certain attributes. We grouped the range of messages into 6 broadly similar categories and looked at which channel worked best for each group. This chart shows us where the FT newspapers scored higher than FT.com at gaining agreement. FT.com scored more highly than the newspaper on these 3 groups of messages. As we all know, no successful advertising campaign has just one objective, and the clever use of a truly integrated print and online campaign will deliver an overall stronger communications message and stronger audience engagement with a brand than using one channel alone. Just as brand or message takeout from a campaign will vary by channel, so too do the creative opportunities offered by those channels. When asked about the advertisement themselves rather than the brand messages, again we see a difference between print and online. Using the same 5 cross-platform studies as a base, print ads outscored online on these 3 areas. And on the flip side, online creative clearly has its own strengths. Our analysis shows that online creative is more effective than print in these 3 areas. Not only can you reach bigger and better audiences by adding FT.com to your print campaign, not to mention reaching them in a more engaging and effective way for your brand messaging, but you can also reach and engage with your audience more quickly with an integrated ad campaign. In this hypothetical example, and using the EMS survey tool to look at a broad, mass affluent target audience across Europe, an advertiser wishing to leverage the power only of the FT brand could reach almost 12% of the total universe of 41 million, or about 4.5 million individuals over the course of a working month with the newspaper alone. That same reach of 4.5 million can be delivered in just 7 days, or around 1/3 of the time, and for the same potential budget, by using FT.com in conjunction with the FT newspaper. Particularly important for any new brand or product launches, or any time when there's a message to communicate quickly. Strength is all about great brands working together. It's very well recognised that companies who advertise in highly regarded media brands enjoy the by association rub-off that the particular media environment brings, and they can gain some dramatic uplifts in their overall perception amongst their target audience. To test the strength of the FT environment, we recently carried out some research using a dummy watch ad for a made-up watch brand. We mocked up the ads and produced some PDFs of pages showing the watch ads in situ in the pages of a range of UK national newspapers, plus on the pages of their associated websites. We then showed a selection of those pages to a business audience in the UK and asked them questions about the watch, including how much they thought it would cost to buy. As it was a dummy brand, there were no external clues to the quality, craftsmanship or price levels of the watch. All respondents had to go on with the locations of the ads. The results speak for themselves. The average price suggested after seeing the ads in the UK quality newspapers was around £650. The average price suggested after seeing the ads on the UK quality newspaper websites was a shade under £1,000. On the FT platforms, the average price suggested across the newspaper and website was almost 50% higher than that, at almost £1,500, with the 2 channels almost identical in terms of imagined cost. It all goes to show that the FT environment for both print and online offers significant uplift to brand value and perceptions. Our latest research shows us how C-suite executives consume print, online browser and mobile and tablet content on a general working day. With print, they start their day by reading a large amount of newspaper content, but this tends to slow down during the working part of their day before they return to reading the newspaper again in the evening. With online browsers, accessing via desktop and laptop, this plays just a small role before work, but peaks in usage during the working day and is used heavily during breaks and at the end of the day. Usage of mobile and tablet devices is already having an impact on C-suite executives. They use them just as much as the online browser in the morning, especially when they're travelling to and from work. If you only concentrate your advertising onto one platform, you're going to miss huge opportunities to reach this influential audience throughout their working day, on the platforms that they use and trust and build into their own daily information flows. Hopefully by now we have demonstrated that integrated campaigns are the only way forward for smart brands and their agencies. But it is worth ending on smart, because in addition to all of the previous benefits that we've looked at, integrated campaigns make yours and your clients' money work smarter too. Let us hear from some industry experts.
Increasingly I'm using media from a variety of sources that grows and grows, particularly in terms of digital, and everything from kind of some radio in the morning at the same time as actually reading an iPad is where I'm going now. And if I'm travelling, then print is usually kind of very central.
In my case, I absolutely have to be up on market movements and on the causalities thereof, and also on risks and challenges, particularly major events that might have a seismic impact on the companies that are in our coverage areas. So my ability to have access to the world of information and commentary and news on an iPhone or on PC is something that, frankly, is the core enabler of my professional activity, as it is for so many people in the world today.
I have taken to reading news on an iPad, which didn't happen 18 months ago. And increasingly I'm reading news alerts on my mobile phone.
To give you an idea, we are expecting that by the end of 2012, 65% of Europeans will be equipped with a smartphone. This is a very, very substantial change. This is a leap forward, and we will see the effects of that in terms of data consumption continue to be very, very compelling.
We're seeing an increasing number of sales transacted on mobile devices as opposed to desktop PCs. We just have to be ready to expect that every device or every media is one which our customers are going to want to use, and we have to be there to provide what they're looking for on that.
All I can say is that everyone on the planet will, within a reasonable period of time, 5 to 10 years, have access to a mobile device.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.